Aloha! Today we're gonna do the story of Sasha's family and her alliances with Mason and Trent and the children they brought to this world. So let's start with Mason here. Mason was born on the day it was 6 degrees of Cancer, which is a few days after the summer solstice in 89. And his moon was at 6 degree Taurus, perfect sextile to his moon. His Mercury is at 17 degree of Gemini. He rules Gemini very well. His Venus at 29 degree Cancer, the very last degree before Leo, adding up to the caring family sign of Cancer. But in Leo we got Mars at 7 degrees, close to Venus, but in different signs and different vibes, as Leo wants to show. And Jupiter, he has it at 22 degree Gemini, close to his Mercury, 5 degrees away. His Saturn, he has it at 10 degrees Capricorn, across the sky, in close to a straight opposition to his Sun, 6 degrees, 10 degrees. And Saturn rules Capricorn. His Uranus at 3 degree Aries. No, 3 degree Capricorn, sorry. 3 degree Capricorn, close to Saturn. It was in the late 80s, 89. And Neptune was also in Capricorn at 11 degrees, 1 degree outside of Saturn. So he's got all of that stellum opposite his Sun in Cancer. Just make it so easy to be caring when all the excitement of the generation is in the Capricorn. And his Pluto is at 12 degrees Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio too. So Saturn rules Capricorn, Pluto rules Scorpio, Mercury rules Gemini. Some rules here. So Chiron, the wounded healer, is at 8 degrees Cancer. So right by his Sun, making him a healer, a wounded healer in his personality. And it's also part of that long generation of Chiron opposite Uranus. which lasted from the early 50s to about 1990, of Chiron always oppositing Saturn. But they started off actually an opposite of that. They started off with Uranus in Cancer and Chiron in Capricorn, and they've been oppositing themselves one another for 39 years, up to about the early 1990, and he's part of that the last members of that long generation of Chiron opposite Uranus, which most adults these days are part of, such as I. 8-degree Cancer is his Chiron, yeah. And then his nodes are at 27-degree Aquarius. 27-degree Aquarius is the north node, and 27-degree Leo is the south node for Mason. And Mason was born in early morning, so his sun should be, the ascendant is here, sun is rising, and his ascendant is at 22-degree Cancer. degrees by here, and descendant 22-degree Capricorn, and his midheaven is at 10-degree Aries. Midheaven 10-degree Aries. Sorry, just a little bit more. And opposite that, 10-degree Libra is the Imam Kueli, 10 degrees of Libra. So the way his boat floats, Mason's boat is here, this way, going towards the Cancer, towards caring, towards home, towards family, such as his sun, Chiron, and Venus. But his sun, Chiron, are in his 12th house. Venus and Mars are in his first house. Both of them in two different signs, close together. Two poles of Venus and Mars. And so it's Imam Kueli down here, bottom of his sky, his inferior sky. So it's Pluto in Scorpio. It looks like might be at the end of his 4th house, going into his 5th house. And his descendant being here is Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune together in Capricorn are in his 6th house, the house of service. So that's how he's being helpful, is with that genius of that generation of the late 80s, making Capricorn nice besting. His moon in Taurus here, it looks like it's it is maybe from the 10th to 11th house cusp. And in his 11th house seems to be more is Jupiter and Mercury in Gemini. So that's the way that Mason's going. And then very important person, VIP in this story here is Sasha. Sasha was born 3 years earlier. And I'm gonna put her in turquoise. So her sun is at 28 degree Taurus. 28 degree Taurus, just before it goes into Gemini, but still a Taurus, at least a degree away from Gemini. And the moon, her moon is at 28 degree of Virgo. Oops, that's the chunk of the moon. 28 degree, and giving her a perfect trine between her sun and her moon. And her Mercury is at 23 degree Taurus. You can hear it in her voice. The Taurus rules the throat. Her Venus is at 27 degree Gemini. Close to Mason's sun, Jupiter here, and Sun. Close, somewhere in the middle. And her Mars is at 20 degree Capricorn. 20 degree Capricorn. Oop, that's Aries. 20 degree Capricorn is pretty much on Mason's descendant. Mason, yeah, is at 22 degrees, so her Mars is in Mason's 7th house. Sixth house, sorry. 7th house is this side. 6th house is the other side of the descendant. And also adds a third leg, close to a third leg to a grand trine in the earth signs. Mars, Mercury, Moon, and Sun also. Her Jupiter is at 18 degree Pisces. Past the middle. Kind of adds a sextile leg into the design and close in opposition between her Jupiter and Moon. Her Saturn, Sasha's Saturn, is at 7 degree Sagittarius. Right here, close to an opposition to her Sun, but not close enough. Her Uranus is at 21 degrees Sagittarius. Here, I think it's flying away. Sorry, Sasha. I'll get you better paint next time. And that is close to an opposition to her Venus. And we're talking about the Chiron Uranus opposition. We'll get to Chiron later on, and it was still in those years. And for now, we're talking about Neptune. Went into Capricorn after a long trip into Sagittarius, a generation before, but she's part of the next generation of having Neptune in Capricorn, which is at 11 degrees. 11 degrees, somewhere more like here. Alright, so it's lined up with Mason was just born 3 years after her, so Neptune didn't go very far. Her Pluto is at 5 degrees Scorpio. Sorry. 5 degree Capricorn is her Neptune. Sorry. Right by Mason's Uranus is at 3 degree. So just 2 degrees away from his Uranus. So Neptune in 3 years travel at least 8 degrees or 6 degrees. Anyway. And Pluto, or Sasha, also rules Scorpio with Mason. That generation of the Scorpio rulers, Pluto in there. Her Chiron, as we were saying, is at 13 degrees Gemini. 13 degree Gemini is about here, closer to the middle. So again, it's part of that Uranus Chiron opposition, a generation of 39 years or so. And her nodes, Sasha's nodes, are at 29 degree Aries, winds up in the north node, starts from the south node, from the peace, winds up in the battle. The very end degree of Aries, the battle that determines the grounds in Taurus. And her ascendant, 2 degree Pisces is her ascendant. 2 degree Pisces. It's Jupiter in her first house. And descendant at 2 degree Virgo. Her midheaven is at 10 degree Sagittarius. Mumkwili, bottom of the sky, 10 degree Gemini. And the way her boat floats is towards the Pisces, towards the ocean, and going around in the circles of the fish. Sasha's Jupiter is in her first house, so she puts out the joys first of the universal mindedness of Pisces, and her Imam Kuali here in Gemini. So her Sun and her Mercury are in her third house, which kind of adds, sends more her Sun into the Gemini energy of the third house, and Mercury also, which is more likely than the Taurus. She gives us more of an impression of the Gemini than the Taurus, but we hear it in her voice very well. And her Chiron is also in her fourth house, and Venus in Gemini, her house of home, family. In her seventh house is where her moon is, at the end of Virgo. And her Pluto looks like she has it in her 8th house here, which is close to her south node. And up in her midheaven is her Saturn, but her Saturn is in the 9th house, the house of the Sagittarian, of travels. And her Uranus, also in Sagittarius, is in her 10th house, the house of business and managing your life. Looks like Neptune might be in the 10th house also, and Mars in the 11th house, the house of the Aquarian house, I should say. The Aquarian house is her Mars in Capricorn. That's the way Sasha's boat floats. Together, Mason and Sasha brought a beautiful girl to life. Her name is Olena, medicinal plant, and her son was at 26-degree Pisces, and that was just a few days before our wedding, my wedding. 26-degree Pisces is Olena's son. Pisces is here. 26 degrees. So right by her mom's Jupiter. Her moon is at 17-degree Leo. 17-degree Leo in the Martian sign of her dad's. Jupiterian sign of her mom, Martian sign of her dad's, for the sun and moon. And Olena's Mercury is at 12-degree Aries. So at 12-degree Aries or Mercury, feistiness in the speech, communications of Mercury. 17-degree Aquarius is her Venus. That's pretty much straight opposition to her moon from 17 to 17. Olena's Mars is at another 17. Olena's Mars right by her Jupiter in Pisces. And her Jupiter is at 11-degree Aries. Right by her Mercury, which is at 12 degrees. So her Jupiter is right before. It makes a whole lot of communication. She expresses her joys. The first one in Aries. Aries wants to be the first. So opposite that, in Libra, at 15 degrees Libra, is her Saturn. Very close to a straight opposition. Her Uranus is at 0-degree Aries, the very beginning of Aries, adding more excitement to the battlefield of Aries. Her Neptune is at 29-degree Aquarius. So she's one of the very last members of that generation of about 14 years of Neptune in Aquarius. And then right after that, we're getting the Neptune and Pisces generation, which is still going on. Her Pluto is at 7 degree Capricorn, so she's there to destroy and rebuild her mom's beliefs and her dad's great ideas and serious side of Saturn, all in Capricorn. Olena's Chiron is at 2 degree Pisces, very close to Neptune, but in Pisces. Her nodes are at 28 degree Sagittarius and 28 degree Gemini, where she winds up running off in the Sagittarian, traveling away, asking questions. It comes from a Geminarian side, her north node by her mom's Venus. Olena's ascendant is at 0 degree Leo. No other sign than the best is Leo. Her ascendant right here, descendant down here, 0 degree Aquarius. Puts her moon in the first house. Her midheaven is at 26 degree Aries. And Imam Kwali 26 degree of Libra. So that's the way her boat floats towards the Leo, the fun, the leadership, towards her moon, her emotions, showing off her emotions, being the boss in Leo. And her Saturn is down in her 3rd house, Libra, putting a little restriction on the Geminarian in her twin side, or a little more focus on that. Her Pluto is in her 6th house, which is close to her dad's ascendant, also and descendant in his 6th house too, is where her Pluto is. And her Venus, Neptune, Chiron here, looks like they're in her 7th house. Maybe more closer to the 8th house for Chiron and Neptune, since her midheaven is a little bit more squeezed in between her descendant. You see, it's the midheaven Imam Kuali line. So yeah, it looks like her Mars, also maybe her Uranus, or maybe her Uranus seems more in the 9th house. Yeah, 9th house for Uranus, Jupiter, and Aries and Mercury in Aries. But her 8th house is Neptune, Chiron, and Mars, all 3 in Pisces. 7th house Venus goes well in the 7th house, and nothing in the 10th house for her, no business. And that's the way Olena's boat floats. And then, sad to say, Mason and Sasha split up And let's see the next part after. So now Mason is a single dad. Still takes care of Olena. And Olena and Sasha are another unit. When Olena goes with mom, from dad to mom. And mom meets Trent. Sasha meets Trent. And Trent was born the same year as Mason, but a couple of months later, with the sun at 2° Virgo, right where Sasha has her descendant. Descendant is the relation part of the sky. The backside of the boat is the stern. So we gotta look back and wait for somebody. And that's where Trent is for Sasha. And Trent's moon is at 28° Gemini. His emotions, he likes to have a twin to talk about his emotions, and he has the love of Sasha there, her Venus. And Trent's Mercury is at 29° Virgo, right by Sasha's moon. So when he speaks, it makes her emotions tune in. Trent's Venus is at 9° Libra. That's the ruler of Libra, is Venus. His Mars is at 14° Virgo. Pretty much in the middle of the sign of service and criticism and being focused on little details. His Jupiter is at 4° Cancer, close to his moon, close to Sasha's Venus. The sign of caring, Cancer, and home. His Saturn, Trent's Saturn, is in Capricorn at 7 degrees. So Saturn rules Capricorn, fits very well up there. His Uranus is at 1° Capricorn. Just got into Capricorn. 1°. His Uranus is also in Capricorn at 9 degrees. By his Saturn, which is at 7 degrees. You can squeeze that in there. Looks like pretty much it. If the magnets will allow. His Pluto also rules Scorpio at 12 degrees. His Chiron at 13° Cancer, close to his Jupiter, a little bit more in the middle. His North nodes are at 25° Aquarius, the North node, and 25° Leo, the South node. Close enough to his own sun and close to Olena's moon in Leo. Because Trent is kind of a stepdad now to Olena, but Olena still has her full-time dad close enough. But it's important because they are part of the family now, same family. And Trent's ascendant is at 9-degree Sagittarius. 9-degree Sagittarius. It's pretty much in line with Sasha's midheaven and descendant down here. Oops. Descendant in Gemini, 9-degree Gemini, goes to Sasha's Chiron, and the way Trent's boat floats. Is going towards the Sagittarius, going towards traveling, going away, escaping, asking questions, foreign countries is where Trent is going. And as he's going forward, where's his midheaven? Imam Kweli, Imam Kweli. I put it out. Oh, I forgot that part. His midheaven is at 27-degree of Virgo, Imam Kweli 27-degree of Pisces. So his descendant, it looks like all these three planets, Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune, are in his first house. So that's what he puts up first. First is the excitement of the business, Capricorn, excitement of organizing social structures, and Saturn ruling in there, Neptune follow up. So all those three planets together is what he puts out first as he's searching in Sagittarius. But these after the search of Sagittarius they have been found, we know what they are, and they categorize in Capricorn. So he's searching but has that category already established there in his first house. Now in the bottom of his sky, Imam Kweli and his family is where Olena's stellum here, between her sun, Uranus, Mercury, and Jupiter, and that's in Trent's family and home. He incorporates that very well. And his descendant here, he's got in his 6th house he's got Sasha's Sun and Mercury, but on his 7th house cusp is where her Chiron is, and also her Venus. And that's where also his moon is. Trent's moon and Jupiter are in his 7th house. His Chiron looks like could be in his 8th house or 7th, close to the 7th, since that axis here between the ascendant descendant midheaven to Imam Kweli is a bit askew, not as perpendicular as my boat idea. So he's got a broader 7th house, so his Chiron in Cancer is probably included in that 7th house. And his midheaven up here puts his Sun and his Mars in his 9th house, which goes along with the Sagittarian concept, but in Virgo. And in his 10th house he has Mercury way up there. So in business, that's where he puts his Mercury. Mercury also rules the sign of Virgo. And he also has his Venus in Libra in his 10th house. It's the way he works with his business and his career. And his Pluto, looks like Pluto is in the 11th house for Trent. What do we have here? See that stellum here of oppositions between the moon and Chiron. He's close to a sextile to his sun too. Somewhat. Have any squares in here between Olena's sun and Trent's moon? Her personality with his emotion, and Trent's emotions and his communication don't go together. Bit of an opposition between Trent's Venus in Libra and Olena's planets in Aries, Mercury and Jupiter. Maybe you can include Uranus in there too. How bright does the star shine? Somewhat here. Kind of. Alright. So together, Trent and Sasha had another baby, another girl, coming from heaven, Iolani, the hawk of heaven, and her sun is at 2 degrees Sagittarius, just the beginning of the Sagittarian sign. After the Scorpion season is done, is the sun in Sagittarius, the 24th of November. Her moon is in Taurus at 16 degree Taurus, just about in the middle. Her Mercury is at 6 degrees Sagittarius, right by her sun, right by her mom Saturn. When Ulani speaks, Moms reacts with her Saturn here, putting a stop to the moment, maybe. Her Venus is at 17 degree Libra, right by her sister Olena's Saturn, and Venus rules Libra, just like her dad, Venus. And her Mars is also in Libra at 7 degrees Libra, right by her dad's Venus, which is at his Venus at 9, and her Mars is at 7. Sorry about that. And Iolani's Jupiter is at 20 degree Virgo. Close to her dad's Mars. And the sign of her dad's sun too. And Mercury that rules Virgo. Iolani's Saturn is at 6 degrees Sagittarius, right by her mom's Saturn. So Sasha had her Saturn return when Iolani was born, bringing seriousness to her own words, precision, probably asking the precise questions in Sagittarius. Her Uranus is at 16 degree Aries, just past the middle, by her bringing excitement to her sisters, to Olena's Mercury and Jupiter. Iolani's Neptune is at 7 degree Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. Unlike her sister, who was the last of the generation of Neptune in Aquarius, Iolani's Neptune is a sign that it rules at 7 degree Pisces. Her Pluto is at 13 degree Capricorn. Just about in line with her dad's Neptune, and opposite her dad's Chiron in Cancer. Precisely. 13 degrees. Iolani's Chiron is at 16 degree Pisces. Right by her mom's Jupiter and her sister's Mars. Sister Olena. Iolani's nodes are at 29 degree Virgo. North node and 29 degree Pisces south node, which lines up with her mom's moon in the north. That's where she's gonna wind up. It's by her mom's moon, her dad's Mercury. Whatever her dad say is where Iolani gonna wind up, which is a good place to go for a daughter. And her ascendant is at 4 degree Capricorn. Descendant 4 degree Cancer. Her mom's Jupiter, her dad's Jupiter, sorry. And midheaven is at 14 degree Libra. And Imam Kuali 14 degree Aries. For the middle, which shows us the way her boat floats towards the Capricorn, towards the business, serious sign of social structures. That's where she's heading. And in her first house, first planet that she shows us is Pluto, planet of fears, hiding something in Capricorn. Pluto is destroying the bureaucracy concept. And then after that, looks like in the third house, probably, is her Neptune Chiron in Pisces. And in her fourth house, just by the homunculi, is where Uranus is. For her, the excitement is at home. And looks like her moon is in the fifth house in Taurus. Playful sign, playful house in the sign of Taurus, which is not so playful. And her midheaven is up here. That puts her Mars and Jupiter in their ninth house. Jupiter in Virgo, Mars in Libra. But her Venus in Libra is in her 10th house. She's going to be doing business with her relationship of love, her career. And she puts her Sun in the 11th house, maybe? Her Sun, which is by her Mercury and Saturn. In her 11th house, which is the house of friendship, Aquarian house. That's the way Yolani's boat floats. What do we have here to show? Even though Yolani and Olena are in signs that are squared usually, between Pisces and Sagittarius, her suns are closer to a trine than a square, which is a good thing. What else? But they're more of a square to her dad's. Her dad's son, Trent, and Yolani, two signs that don't go together, Virgo and Sagittarius, because Virgo has to focus on the details, as to Sagittarius wants to run off. But for Trent, Sagittarius is where his ascendant is, which makes it good for him, good place. But puts Yolani in his 12th house. Kind of keeps her as a secret. Her secret weapon. His secret weapon. Trent's secret weapon is Yolani. Alright. And then we keep on going. Kahea came along. Kahea, the Aquarian, 2 years later, 2 years? No, less than 2 years later. Aquarian at 22 degrees Aquarius, close to Olena's Venus, is Kahea's Sun, 22 degree Aquarius. 10th of February. And her moon is in Leo at 24 degrees Leo, close to her sister Olena's moon. Kahea's Mercury is at 5 degrees Aquarius. Her Venus is at 5 degree Aries. Close to Olena's stellum here, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mercury. And Kahea's Mars is at 10 degree Aries. Mars rules Aries, which is very close in opposition to her sister Yolani's Mars and Venus, which are in Libra. Venus rules Libra, Mars rules Aries. Jupiter for Kahea is at 23 degree Libra. So Kahea is definitely putting a big highlight for the opposite sign of our Mars and Venus, making it important for relationships. Is it 23 degree? Yeah. Right by her sister's Venus. After all, opposites are Venus, but still puts a lot of importance there for relationships, for music, for aerial beauty. And Kahea's Saturn is at 25 degrees Sagittarius. By her mom's Uranus, and between her mom's and her dad's Uranuses is Kahea's Saturn. Her Neptune is at 10 degree Pisces. Her Uranus first, sorry. Uranus is at 21 degree Aries. Over here, opposing her Jupiter at 22 degrees. Oh, Jupiter is at 23 degrees and Uranus at 21 degree. Libra to Aries. And her Neptune is in Pisces, like I was saying a little earlier when I was jumping the gun to 10 degree Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces along with her sister Yolani. Her Pluto is at 18 degree Capricorn. 18 degree Capricorn. Where's her Pluto? Capricorn, 18 degrees, right here in the middle. By her mom's Mars. And also squaring, making a T-square to her Jupiter and Uranus here, to her Pluto in Capricorn. T-square. Not so easy. Chiron for Kahea is at 22 degree Pisces. Familiar part of the sky here. Her sister's sun close by. Her north node and south node for Kahea are at 3 degree Virgo for the north node. Her mom's ascendant is where she's winding up. Her south node at 3 degree Pisces by her mom's ascendant, where she's starting off, winding up. South node to north node, Dharma to Karma. Her ascendant is at 28 degree Leo. Is that it? Yeah, 28 degree Leo is her ascendant. 28 degree Leo and 28 degree Aquarius is her descendant. Her midheaven at 28 degree Taurus. 28 degree Scorpio is her Imam Kueli. So this is the way Kahea's boat floats So unlike Olena puts her moon in Leo in her first house. So it's the first thing that Olena will show is her emotion in the Leo leading sign. As for Kahea, she also has the moon in Leo and also has the ascendant in Leo, but Kahea's moon are in her 12th house, keeping those a little bit more secretive, but very close to emerging out into her first steps into her attitude of leadership. 28 degree here is also 29 degree, or is probably close to 0 degree. Virgo is Regulus, the ruling star. Down in her second house, she has Jupiter here, which is in Libra. So making that part a little bit more solid. That's her. She owns her second house, the house of the Taurus. Down in her fourth house at home, she has Saturn. And in her fifth house, the Leonine house is her Pluto. And her Pluto is by her mom's Mars. And then Yolani's sixth house is where she puts her Sun and Mercury, be at service, the house of Virgo. And in her seventh house, her seventh house is Pisces, that she has her Neptune and Chiron. In her relationships, that's where she puts Neptune that rules there in Pisces. In her 8th house, she's got the Venus, Mars, Uranus team up. Opposite her Jupiter in her 2nd house. And nothing up in the midheaven for Kahea. And the 12th house, Moon. So Kahea doesn't have any Geminian aspect to her chart, but she almost got a twin brother born at 26 degree Aquarius is when Hawaii was born. Five days after Kahea's birthday, 2 years later. Hawaii's moon just before the full moon, and so was by the way, Kahea was born on the full moon. See the opposition between the sun and the moon, just a little bit past the full moon, but Hawaii was born with the moon at 4 degree Cancer. Born with the moon in Cancer. And it's far from an opposition. It's more like a trine. But a little bit more than a trine. Hawaii's Mercury is at 9 degree Pisces. 9 degree Pisces is Hawaii's Mercury. Here, by his sister's Neptunes. So the way he speaks, he probably keeps them hypnotized somewhat. His Venus is at 13 degree Capricorn. It's about in the middle. Close to between his sisters, Yolani and Kahea's Plutos. So even though with his speech he keeps them hypnotized, They're destroying his sense of femininity. Over here, Hawaii's Mars is at 0 degree Taurus, right at the doorsteps. And Hawaii's Jupiter is at 20 degree Sagittarius. Loves his mom's excitement, makes him very happy. And when his sister Kahea gets serious, it makes him happy. His Saturn is at 16 degree Capricorn by his Venus. So there's a lot of precision in his love life. Probably his sisters are, probably has a little Saturn to his sisterhood. Saying, stop, it's too much feminine here. Oops. His Uranus is at 29 degree Aries, right by his Mars-Uranus together, but his Mars is in Taurus, 2 different signs. The battles to determine the grounds is where he's got his Uranus and Mars. His Neptune is at 15 degree Pisces, also rules with his Neptune. Pisces by his mom's Jupiter, and his sister Olena's Mars, his sister Yolani's Chiron. Hawaii's Pluto is at 22 degree Capricorn, close to his Saturn. So weird how the tape moved away from the magnet, it slipped sideways. And his Chiron is at 29 degree Pisces, another end of the sign for Uranus, end of the sign for Chiron. End of the sign for his sun. His nodes, Hawaii's nodes, 26 degree Cancer is his north node, and 26 degree Capricorn is south node. Down here, his ascendant at 5 degree Gemini. So he wanted to be the Gemini. 5 degree Gemini. At Kahea didn't care for a Gemini, for a twin, but Hawaii, that's where he wanted to go, was towards the twin. It's close to an opposition to his dad's ascendant descendant, is Hawaii's ascendant descendant. Let's turn his chart with his ascendant. Here is midheaven up at 22 degree Aquarius, putting his sun in his 10th house, and 22 degree Leo is bottom of the sky, is Imam Kweli, his home. So that's the way Hawaii's boat floats towards the twin, towards the Gemini. So he doesn't have no, his moon is in his 2nd house, because you see his Imam Kweli squeezing in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd house. So his moon is emotion in Cancer, and his sign that the moon rules is in his second house. So it's his possession, his what he owns, his grounds. His Imam Kueli down here, his home, his family. Because we're speaking about Cancer here, but his Imam Kueli, his fourth house, is his home. So he's got his sister's moons there, Yolani and Olena and Kahea's moons, and his dad too in his home, in his fourth house, and also his dad's body, his dad's actions, physical Mars in his fourth house, in Hawaii's fourth house. And for Hawaii, other than that, he's got his Jupiter in his seventh house, so relationships are important for him in Sagittarius. So relationships that are going away, that are traveling in Sagittarius, is in his seventh house. Or his mom's Uranus excitement here, his sister Kahea's Sirius side is a deal to have for Hawaii, a deal of relationship. And in his eighth house he has his Venus, Saturn and Pluto here in Capricorn. That's in his eighth house. And up at the midheaven is here. Midheaven is here. He's got his Sun in his 10th house and his Mercury and also his Neptune there in the sign of business. In his 11th house, friendship, the house of friendship is where his Chiron is, wounded healer. And probably even his Uranus, Mars are in his 11th house. This house of the Aquarian house, the house of friends. So that's the way Hawaii's boat floats. And what do we have to show for Hawaii? There's T-square going on between the moon. Not so much. And his Chiron up here, not so much. The moon and Chiron are in more of a square. Not so precise. His Chiron is tiny. Doesn't take up much room in the sky. Wind makes my pieces fly. And for Hawaii, what's going on? I pointed that out between his sun and moon, closer to a trine. It's getting busy in there. Anything to point out? The quintile. We split the circle in 5. Not so much. Not so much to be precise here. Maybe, what's close to more like Olena between her sun and her moon. Looks like a quintile here, but other than that, Nothing so significant. If we split the circle in 6, what kind of harmonics do we get? Hawaii's got that between his Uranus and his Sun. Almost include Jupiter in there. And the Moon. Could almost. All right. So Trent and Sasha tied the knot just before Kahea was born. Let's draw the chart of the wedding day, the moment of union. Let's seal the deal for this family here. And that was on New Year's Eve, just before Kahea was born. And the Sun was at 10° Capricorn, right about here is 10° Capricorn. So making Hawaii wasn't born then, but the marriage affects his life anyway. His Venus, got Sasha's Neptune nearby, and also Trent's Neptune, so their beliefs get linked together on that day, with the Sun being there. The Moon was at 13° Aquarius, about here, close to the middle, just after the new moon. And Kahea wasn't born yet, but it was just before then that it was by Mercury, the Mercury of Kahea there, and her Sun too, close to that, close enough to make some importance for Kahea, that wedding. Even though she was part of it, she was in mom's belly at that moment. But the marriage is still going to affect the rest of her life. At 3° Capricorn was Mercury. So the communication was going on that day. Seriously and socially structured. And close to the Uranus of Trent here in Capricorn. Olena was there. She was born running around at almost 2 years old, or just past 2 years old, yeah. And their ascendant is where Mercury was by her ascendant on that day. And Venus on that day was at 27° Aquarius. Love of friends, of the rebel Aquarius, distributing the news, where Venus was, and yet to be born was Kahea and Hawaii, where their Sun is in Aquarius, but that's where Venus was on that day. And Mars on that day was at 5° Pisces, close to Venus. Maybe more like here. 5° Pisces was Mars in the first house of Sasha by her ascendant, and Jupiter was at 21° Libra, right here in the sign of relationships. Makes that event very important. And Saturn was at 21 degree Sagittarius. It's about here. It's an important sign for Saturn for Sasha, Yolani, and Kahea. It was the Saturn of the marriage. Uranus was at 20 degree Aries. About here. Uranus. And Neptune was at 9 degree Pisces. Neptune right here, ruling Pisces. Pluto was at 16 degree Capricorn, pretty much in the middle. There's Pluto. And the north nodes of the marriage was at 4 degree Virgo. And 4 degree Pisces is the south node. By Olena is the south node. The north and south node axis didn't change much up until a month later when Kahea was born. In the sign of Virgo, and wind up being of service, wind up toward Trent's. Trent is are we gonna inherit the marriage, and the ascendant of the marriage was about 22 degree Gemini. The ascendant of the marriage and the descendant around here, putting Saturn in the 6th house of the marriage. So in the midheaven it was at 10 degree Pisces. Midheaven, and the Imam Kueli 10 degree Virgo. So that's the way the boat of the marriage floats. It's towards the twin, because the 2 kids they got after that were almost twins in Aquarius. Not together, 2 years apart, 2 twins. And was it 22 degrees of Gemini. 2. In this year of 22. This is when I'm making this. Alright, so this is Sasha and Trent's family, along with Mason's over here. Over here. Thank you for watching. Until next one, aloha!